H-Town.
Snyder, tighter, whiter, biter in the asshole, you suck, nigga.
Damn. This going on. I'm about to blow it up. You wanna show it up.
You wanna rub me off, you always got me wrong. I'm going in the trunk.
She wanna suck me off.
Set up with a Chomsky.
Yo.
Going in and suck me. Yo.
Weezy, baby.
Look, I just think everyone should be jacked. Steroids.
Yo.
Zack Snyder has a fetish.
Damn, dude. James Cameron said that testosterone is cancer on the fucking...
Yeah,
Well,
sure,
I don't know
whatever.
what he's on about that. I don't know. He's got some... I feel like this is just something that he... This was probably a meme in like the 60s or 70s whenever he was like having sex with like 5 women a day and like doing the free love thing and smoking weed and just like, yeah, man, it's like fucking like some man. It's like masculinity. It's like toxic. And, yeah, we need to, like, take testosterone, just, like, chemically fucking castrate these toxic...
You see, the irony is if he didn't have testosterone, he wouldn't be making the movies he makes.
I know. Like, the idea that...
The drive
like,
for human exploration, I think, is inherently tied to our hormones.
And, like, he has such a chip on his shoulder about, like, his... Because, like he still talks about... Like, he was talking about Titanic, like... when Avatar came out, like 10 years later, about like critics that did, like I think he sent an open letter to somebody that gave a negative review in like, you know, like one of the big magazines back, you know, like in '99, everybody was fucking reading those, and like, so he's got a little chip on his shoulder, you know.
But he's Canadian.
I don't know why.
First off, is he even a real person?
Yeah, and the idea that he's not a fucking like hard nosed classic like 1950s like we're gonna fucking get this done, don't question me you know, I don't know. No, I'm sure he's like a creative, like collaborator. I mean, you've got to be like at that scale.
Yeah, but I think,
but it's like the idea that like he hasn't shouted at it like in the editing bay or whatever, or like at actors and like.
I heard he fucking nailed people's phones to the wall.
Nailed them?
Yeah,
with a nail
on the
gun?
set of Avatar.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Now that's some classic.
That's the classic director. They're all honestly, directors are tyrants.
That's classic toxicity.
Yeah, but but I think you have to have a little bit of that tyrannical angle if you're going to be a director.
Of course, you got to be a little fascist. You're trying to create your own universe over here, and like you have to have a kind of a little dictator inside you.
I sure do.
Where it's like, no. I know this is going to be good. You have to do it my way.
Well, if I'm going to convince the studio to give me millions of bucks, I'm assuming you liked what I gave to you guys to some degree, and
that's in the pitch meeting. But then, what are you going to do that to your costume designer, who you know, or your casting director, or the star of your movie?
Certainly not the star of the movie.
The star of your movie who wants to rewrite your lines, your dialogue.
Well, it depends.
That's what I'm saying. You'd kind of open up and be like, all right, let's talk about this.
Well,
right?
have you heard of the Quentin Tarantino interview? He's talking. He's like, so, look, don't get it twisted. I pay these actors to say my words, okay? But if you have a good idea, you know, I'll listen to them. But ultimately, I just tell them no. I'm like... But he said, like, you know, they do have to inhabit the part to some degree. Like, they do have to take on that persona. So, like, if they genuinely think that they would say this in this situation... Like, even if it's like a shorthand of like what he already said, it's like, okay, well, fair enough, because, you know, even though it did come from me, ultimately some of these characters have a piece of me. You're the one actually living through it, so maybe it takes on... It's weird because like the iterations almost take on like a different life form at some point. And I kind of want that to happen. If I make shit,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you would want to,
I defer to their judgment if it's a good call.
Like, convey your vision for the character to an actor, but then like that gets filtered through them.
But then when they touch it's when they touch the story that I don't like it at all. Like, if it's just directly conflicting with whatever story I'm trying to convey, I won't have it.
Well, yeah. I mean, damn, if I was an actor, I would never fucking do that, but But then again, maybe you're a big star and you think you're working on shit. Okay, guys, we've got last episode was possibly the worst episode. I think
sure was.
It was a little too high and started to lose track of things. But I'm definitely going to do that again this episode. So we're going to try and top last episode. Yeah. It's Weezy, baby.
Yeah.
So, but I cannot convey my excitement right now.
So what's on the agenda? Who's on the chopping block?
Guys, this past, I think it was Wednesday. It's the December 10th right now. This past Wednesday, I believe, the news dropped. First, it was a trickle. Patty Jenkins.
She's out.
Or Wonder Woman 3 is probably not happening. Then, more rumors trickle in.
Recast.
Aquaman 2, potentially the last man. Yeah, Aquaman.
He might be Loba.
Aquaman 2 might not. There may be no Aquaman 3. Henry Cavill maybe, or all this shit. Yeah, and then it looks like DCEU may be scrapped. And then James Gunn puts out this cryptic tweet, basically confirming it.
He's like, some of it's true, some of it's to be determined. So
some of it's true, some of it's false, some of it
is on the
to be determined. Yeah,
but see that part gets to me. He's trying to weasel out of it. Like, well, we're not so sure yet, but it's like it's in the conversation that this is gonna get axed. So just own up to it, dude.
No, yeah. If
it's in the conversation that these things might not go through, they basically are dead.
Well, if you follow James Gunn on Twitter, you know
he's a pussy.
That he just like he's a total Twitter hound. Like he'll respond to people, he shoots down rumors, like he argue with journalists and shit. So it's like, no, this is not the guy to be making cryptic statements. If he's not confirming or denying it, then true. That means it's true. Yeah,
totally. So
if he's not giving you a straight up answer, then yeah, it's true. He just doesn't want to say it because they're not ready
or allowed to even, which is hilarious. But
this I have been waiting for this day
Pass me that
for
Jay, will
10 fucking years, dude. Nearly a decade. Okay, 2013.
You know it's all Nolan's fault, right? You know it's all Nolan's fault, right?
No. He was absolutely right. He wanted nothing to do with Zack Snyder's movie. He
was basically coerced.
He didn't want to. Yeah, they wanted him to make a Superman like have Superman be. They
wanted him to be the
Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Yes, and he said no. And this like producing Man of Steel was kind of like a concession to be like.
You want Interstellar to be made? Do you want Interstellar to be made?
Yes. I think there was something like that.
Do you want us to fund your little syncope? And, so, look.
So he was like, all right, fine, mate. Okay, yeah. I was like, all right, I'll do that.
I'll do 2 pictures.
Did he do Batman v Superman?
I think he might have.
Oh, shit. I thought he was out after Man of Steel. He even Chris Nolan was like, are you really sure Superman should kill somebody at the end of this movie? He had to convince Zack Snyder to convince, like Chris Nolan was pushing back on that. And as a director who values his own autonomy, Chris Nolan, for him to be like, "Hey, are you sure? Are you sure about this?"
That means you're crossing the line.
Because
like I think he has a hierarchy. It's like, okay, filmmaker vision should be unintruded and completely fucked off with when it comes to studio interference.
I've never heard him say that, but it seems like he doesn't want.
He doesn't have to. Is the problem? He doesn't have to say it. It's very
evident. It's self-evident.
It's self-evident.
Yes,
but
and I think after that, that's why he was out.
But I think integrity of character might be above that for him.
Oh, where he's like, all right, I'm not going to like make the studio make you change this, but because I like that would piss me off. Basically, right?
Right. Oh no, so he was totally in Zack Snyder's corner after the release of Justice League.
Right.
You hear about that story?
Yeah, he said he told Zack to never watch it
because he respects the vision.
Yeah.
So I can applaud him for that.
Okay.
Certainly applaud him for that.
So 2013 Man of Steel, and now I want everyone to hear this. I do not hate Zack Snyder.
He's made some bangers.
I think he's a pretty cool guy, actually. I think we could probably have some pretty interesting convos. But he is not the man. He should have never been given the keys to the entire DCEU to Zack Snyder. Okay, on the surface, it's like, okay, yeah, Nolan made a comic book movie, but it was serious. Do we have anybody else who's done that? Oh, well, this Zack Snyder guy, that 300 movie was popular.
Watchmen.
It was a comic, Watchmen, that didn't make any money, but 300 did, but okay. Now, his last movie, he wrote it himself, and it flopped, and was critically panned, but actually, I think this guy is a creative genius, and we should hand him total control and influence on every our biggest brands. Superman Superman, Batman are in like the top 3.
I don't think
up
that's
there
fair.
with Spider-Man.
I don't think that's fair. I think I think the best parts of the DC EU are because of Zack Snyder. So look, at the very least, he's very committed to the portrayal visually of the characters. Okay, amazing job.
What did you say? That's not fair?
It's not fair to
because I agree with you that there are some good elements in these movies, in Zack Snyder's movies.
Well, I'm saying like
his casting is pretty on point.
I think. Okay, this is probably my fault this is maybe where I think you were going with that. Like, he's been ultimately a net negative for the DCU, and that's true.
I'm going way farther than that.
No, that's true. That's true.
He destroyed the DCEU.
Yes.
He burned it to the he. Okay, look. Now I do want to get because there is a lot of corporate history here too. I think ultimately that played into it. But I think most of that played into it after Zack Snyder was out in the middle of shooting Justice League. I think the Man of Steel. They gave him that. Like, that was all his. Batman v Superman, it seems like the studio didn't make him make a 3-hour movie or whatever, however long it was. I think they were like, well, Man of Steel did pretty good. I guess you can do whatever you want again. Because it wasn't like it flopped and they were immediately going to drop him, right?
The thing is,
it made like literally like Iron Man 1 numbers, and this is in 2013. This is Avengers came out less than a year ago, and now we're getting the first Superman movie in 7 years. After nobody liked the last one, and people are hoping, and it split critics and it split audiences. Where you've got the Snyder fan, like it literally divided the fan base. Okay, and it divided my opinion. I was like kind of 50-50 on it too, and I remember even saying I remember telling my friend well, I think it is good enough to build a universe on, and he was like, really? And I was like, I mean, I think so, yeah. But turns out it was not. Now, it's not because Man of Steel was not that good to me, but and look, I saw the movie like literally 7 times in theater. Like, I've seen the movie over 15 times, easily, because I love Superman. And the real reason was because it was 2013, and like MCU fever was everywhere, and like everybody was just like fucking on everything, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, people were following screenwriters on Twitter and shit, and like all that shit was new.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so that's why I was like, I want the DC version of the MCU. And that's why it was wishful thinking on my part to think that you could build like a cinematic, like 10 plus movies in the same cinematic universe off of like the tone and style of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
But I think you start off with the wrong premise, though. I think when you said you want the DC version of the MCU, I think you should be saying I want the live action version of the DCU of the greater. You know what I mean? Justice League, first Justice League.
I'm not saying anything about like what the movies should have been, because I think you could take the tone, I'm saying a singular cinematic universe the DC characters live in. That not necessarily totally Marvel or anything necessarily. Like, you go do whatever. And now it's going to be James Gunn wackiness or whatever, or who knows what he's going to do. But that's not. I was just excited at the idea of the interconnected, like for DC, because yes, we just had the Dark Knight trilogy end, and it's like, oh my god, imagine a Batman that good in a universe with the rest of the Justice League in a Justice League movie. Okay, we were still high on Dark Knight and Heath Ledger and shit, you know, and Dark Knight Rises had come out, and you know,
it's almost like a turning point for like the cinematic comic book movie after the end of the Dark Knight trilogy, because it feels like, okay, this movie like starts off in like the cultural zeitgeist where that's kind of
Man of Steel.
Well, it's back when like everything was separated and decentralized, like Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Blade.
Yeah,
you know, it has its origins in that era, a comic book movie. You know, so to see that trilogy end and see like this new generation of movie making go into play, like, okay, now everything's based off interactivity and like a sort of open sandbox of characters interacting with one another. It's like the next iteration on this new genre as a film.
Yes, and that's what everybody was excited about after Man of Steel, and that's what everybody wanted, and that's why everybody went to go see Batman v Superman still. Mm-hmm. But
because that novelty was still there.
I blame the studio more for this, but Zack Snyder was not the guy. Again, I have to reiterate that. He has this weird like take on Superman, which would be awesome in some sort of Elseworlds thing, but like the idea that you're gonna build like a blockbuster billion-dollar trilogy of Superman movies and a $2 billion Justice, you know, like off of like this like Randian objectivist Superman who's constantly weighing whether or not humanity's worth it to be a superhero for and shit. And his dad is like reinforcing that idea in him as well, to like, you know, you have a decision to, like, it's not like will you be good or bad, it's like will you be good or not. You know what I mean? Is like, and then his mom in Batman v Superman, his mom is telling him, these people don't, you don't owe these people anything. They don't, like, almost like they don't deserve you. And he has this thing, it's like the burden of the gods. It's the great man has to suffer. You know, it's like Leonidas. He has to suffer fools and weaker men, and it tortures a man of pure
integrity,
intellect, and masculinity. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So the idea that you're going to build something off that we're going to get that Superman is going to be palling around and just like, what the hell were they thinking? Now, I blame the studio more, obviously, because they're telling Zack Snyder, yeah, you can do it. Okay, here's Batman v Superman. No, okay, Batman v Superman is a fucking galaxy away from any American citizen's idea of like what a blockbuster like might be or should be. It is just a fucking galaxy brain away from anything that you might like expect to see in a comic book movie in what was it, 2015? Mm-hmm. That Batman v Superman came out. Mm-hmm. It is just a fucking galaxy away, light years away from anything that like your average American or even your average moviegoer anywhere in the world probably would expect from a movie called Batman vs Superman in 20, like the concept of the genre has changed and it's evolving and it's in play, but you know audience expectations are changing. You know what the comic book movie is in people's minds. And then you go and how do you be a studio producer and you go and watch the screening of, the pre-screening of Batman v Superman on the studio lot, and you're like, yeah, I think 2 action scenes, Superman never saving people or seemingly having a good time, or enjoy, he doesn't seem to enjoy much of being, what is the appeal of being, why do kids want to buy a Superman toy here? I don't know how he wasn't asked those questions, and maybe I don't know, so what I was just saying about it being so far away from people's expectations. Normally, I would be like, yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But it still has to be good. And Henry Cavill going around moping and Ben Affleck sulking around various spots, and then you get one montage of Superman saving people, but while looking sad. It's but there's some sort of underlying philosophy or something to I don't know, the people that like it, they've explained, I've there's something about, I don't know, superheroes or having superpowers or some deeper philosophical meanings that you can glean off of it,
I think Zack Snyder had the right idea for Superman. The problem with Superman is a lot of the big argument.
What was his idea that you think was right?
So I think a lot of people's gripes with the character as a whole, I mean, to say that he's been losing cultural relevance for the last 20 years is an understatement of the century. And they attribute that to him being so overpowered and unreflective of the culture as a whole. It's like Superman. It's boring. It's predictable. Superman always wins. He's Superman. Mm-hmm. I'm not Superman. Okay, sometimes we fucking lose, and it's hard. Life is difficult and it's full of challenges. Okay, I want to see people. Okay, this is what I see pasted everywhere. Reddit, YouTube. Mm-hmm. Superman is just unrelatable. And I think as contrived and derisive as that may seem, I think there's a point there. What is fun about seeing someone is going to win? Granted, there's a sort of meta story about that. What makes a good story?
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
What?
All those reasons. I hope they're not yours.
No.
Tony Stark isn't relatable.
Yeah, he is. Sure he is.
To Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk?
Oh, because he's a billionaire?
What? Yeah.
He has very real issues, though. First off, he makes
narcissism, or having to be right, or pushing boundaries, Avengers 2. I don't understand. You're talking about in personality?
Well, I think
I thought you were talking about the superpowers.
No, well, that too.
And he always wins. That's every Marvel movie, and those are crazy popular.
I know.
So none of those really apply here.
Yeah,
if you're
they
just
do.
talking about to Superman,
they totally
do,
or
necessarily, or
first off, look. This is
okay.
I was just laying out. Let me finish. Look, this is a thesis I've seen people spit out in terms of why they don't enjoy Superman as a character. Mm-hmm. Okay, first off,
he's unrelatable.
Right.
Number two, too powerful. He mm-hmm. always wins.
Now, I think it's symptomatic and not why they don't like Superman, because like you said, I even said there's something to be said about that. That's sort of the story about everything.
That's every superhero movie.
Right. I was just about to say that.
Thor.
Right.
Peter Parker's at least not rich.
Right. Well, see, this is what happens. You derail the conversation. I was getting to a point. I was literally addressing that right after you said
I've been watching
that.
too many debates too. So
I know, like fucking chill out, bro. All right.
I like Superman though.
I do too.
I think my boy. I'm defending.
No, totally. Look, I think maybe having the facade of Clark Kent being a little more something that the audience can embody themselves in, I think to some degree is a worthy cause.
I totally agree.
And worthy of consideration when putting together a Superman movie. I think the Clark Kent character has to be just as important as a Superman character.
I totally agree.
Now, I'm not saying it's going to be 50-50.
I would say that of any like superhero protagonist movie, though.
Right.
Here's
so
the thing.
I think
it's not about. All of those problems are like, screenwriting problems.
Yeah,
like making him relatable.
They're story problems.
Yes, and I address all those in my treatment, where the first act is about him and Lois courting. Okay. So you got that. The villain is an actual challenge, and so, yeah, you make the audience question a little bit. Maybe the kryptonite is going to get him.
You see, I think Zack Snyder is like I think Zack Snyder is like form without substance. You know what I mean? He has like
right.
You know what I mean? Like he
he
has like the ideas there.
There's like getting some sort of deeper thing out of it. But here's the thing.
I don't personally.
You can do that, but it still has to be like entertaining, and it's just like the movie is pretty boring. Batman vs Superman. It's pretty boring.
It's like boring 70% of the time.
And then why isn't Jesse Eisenberg the Joker?
Terrible casting.
Well, and then he's usually on point with that though. Like Ben Affleck was actually pretty cool.
What was I going to say? Doomsday, terribly implemented.
Doomsday. That was a total rush on that. Do you think
that was the studio or Zack Snyder?
I think Zack Snyder totally wanted to do that because he's just mashing together like the things, like the thing his favorites.
I don't know about that.
Frank Miller's Batman, his own weird interpretation of like a cool Superman story is like him like going to Congress and investigating Batman a little. Like, I don't know, dude. Do you even remember that movie? What happens in that movie?
Yeah, there is like a total political angle of like the super person that would exist in real life.
People turning on him.
Right. Which I'm like, that's kind of interesting. You could totally do that, but the way you do it is so on the nose and lacking of anything meaningful to begin with. It's really hard to take seriously.
It certainly seems like it. Yeah, it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to be like getting out of this.
Like, what are you trying to get at? Like, you're raising the question.
We got to rewatch it because I feel like I'm going to rewatch it and I'm going to be like, okay, no. This is exactly why it's fucked up. Okay.
No, but I think those criticisms are worthy.
Yeah, because
are valid.
Like, him going to Congress, him breaking up with Lois, like.
They broke up.
I have these weird fragments. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
He kind of goes away like on her fire escape. Like.
I don't even remember
and
that.
It's like literally all those things like him going to Congress or like people turning on him. You can do that in a way that isn't like completely dour and depressing. Like the way it is now when like some people like you get dogpiled or people turn on you, but it's not permanent and then you come back or whatever.
You know what it feels like? It feels like a movie too soon. Obviously.
Oh yeah,
totally
and
right.
He is he's mashing up like Frank Miller's Batman with like the Doomsday thing, with like introducing Wonder Woman, and like getting his own version of Lex Luthor in there.
The problem I think with him is like he provides a lot of content without context.
Yes, like his epic shots.
He'll show like the Robin silhouette. He'll have Batman talking about clowns. We, the audience, have never seen this Batman actually ever do anything Batman.
Right.
So we're just going to have to take you how this is so epic just based off the words alone. That's not how you write. That's not what you do.
Oh, I'm remembering it now.
You know what I mean? Like there has to be that has to be shown to some degree, but like in the beginning, Batman's portrayed as like almost like a demonic figure hunting down rapists and pedophiles and sex traffickers.
Yeah, like a daredevil.
Now, granted, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's
but
not
at
terrible.
This stage, as an introduction to a hero, there has to be something a little more.
Yeah, see, all his characters are like even Batman, like
they're all fucked.
The cops are kind of after him, and like the press kind of think that, like, they're not like he's like some sort of hero. He's like, a vigilante, who brands criminals and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it's like people are kind of split on him, and so like people like there are like always like people that don't understand the protagonist as being good, and that's why it's they're sad and depressed. Because well, I guess Batman is depressed. I don't know why Batman is like drinking and like supposedly being Batman.
I could just imagine right now like a YouTube video analysis. Why Zack Snyder is the perfect post superhero director.
That is like he is like kind of. That's why the Snyder fans are like. I think that's why he has so many Snyder fans. Because he kind of speaks to like feeling like everyone's against you, but you have all this potential inside you, Mm-hmm. But like nobody can see it, and you have to let it out in secret.
That is kind of like the Zack Snyder
under cover of night. That's his take on these,
which is why I think he can maybe do a Batman movie. Maybe.
I did like that warehouse fight. And I thought Jeremy Irons was pretty decent.
He was tight. He was solid.
Yeah.
He's solid in that movie. He's got some actually pretty decent lines in that movie, I think. He's got some snarkiness to him. Kind of pretty Alfred.
And him being his wingman, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so, I don't hate Zack Snyder.
Oh, and Batman killing people too?
Now,
just like willy-nilly,
I could maybe see that if you have done maybe like 2 movies of Batman.
Before?
Yeah.
Wow, like they wouldn't like you wouldn't introduce, like he wouldn't be killing at first.
Like, this is how I would maybe like that idea could work in this sort of context. Maybe we had a trilogy already of a really epic Batman, fantastical, 10 years pass in real time, and then we bring him back.
So it's Christian Bale.
Maybe,
yeah.
and maybe he's killing. A little bit, or a little more of a cynical Batman, maybe. I think it could work, like a Logan-esque Batman.
Oh yeah, and then I wanted to see, he has like the visual
flair.
Yes, that I do genuinely like the duster Batman, like the desert post-apocalyptic Batman and Superman and stuff. Like that was awesome. It looked cool, and then the trailers, like, goddamn, that's why his trailers are so awesome. Mm-hmm. And they make dude. I thought Batman vs Superman. I was like, oh, I forgot about that, dude. I was so on board with that fucking movie. I was so hyped for Batman vs Superman, dude.
Based off of Man of Steel.
Because I still wanted the universe to work. I wanted Ben Affleck to be good. I was looking at the good half of Man of Steel, that I think genuinely is like there is some good parts in there. The casting is good. That scene where Pa Kent shows him, tells him that he's an alien and shows him the ship, and then gives him a hug, and it looks great. Even though that look is kind of worn out now, but
I do kind of like that scene where he's in the school and his mom comes to him and he's like, "It's all too much, Ma." He's like, "Well, drown it out, basically, and go and envision the ocean."
Yeah,
I think that was a good moment in an otherwise boring and drab film.
And I thought it was a good intro to show his powers at the beginning on the rig,
and all of his buffness.
Yeah,
with his nice little chesticles.
Yeah, covered. He's on fire. I think he might be bigger in Batman vs Superman.
He's jacked, man. He's fucking yoked. He's an absolute fucking unit.
Yeah, and Ben Affleck got pretty jacked for that too.
with the CG abs.
Did he?
Yeah, but he was pretty built.
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, he still looked like he had mass.
Totally.
So I think he had the dosage right. But damn, dude, I was so hyped for Batman vs Superman, and it kind of, I mean, did it blow? I mean, for the most part, yeah. Like, I think it was a failure. I think it was a failure to launch Wonder Woman. I think it was a failure to bring Superman.
But Wonder Woman is the reason why people still had some faith in the DCEU, because this is actually kind of a decent movie. Maybe they can make movies, and well, it's like maybe he did cast Gal Gadot.
Maybe she will be good. Yeah, he can. Yeah, the casting. Yeah, I think I was even still hopeful after Batman vs Superman. But man, in retrospect,
you don't know how you could.
Yes, this was such a bad idea from the very beginning. Like having the guy that made the fucking baby doll movie or whatever that movie was called,
Sucker Punch,
and the fact that he wrote it, and it was his worst performing movie on both levels.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And the fact that he hadn't made a movie that was actually profitable since 300. I don't think Watchmen made that much money either. I think it made less than 500 million.
It's kind of ironic that his most success as of late has been on streaming.
Yeah, where the bar is lower, and maybe that's where he should be. But well, if you want to make a sad, depressing 13 episodes of that, for the Snyder fans of whatever, go for it. I'm glad that he gets to make his stuff, and that people because people do like it. So yeah, I'm glad that people
dog shit
are getting. But I mean, that doesn't mean I have. But yeah, but I think it's for the most part, his version of the DCEU was kind of okay. Then the SynderVerse, the Snyder cut. By that time I had no hope because it was so late in the game.
Look,
and
I do remember us both. I do remember us both after seeing the Snyder cut.
Watching Justice League, right? You knew that wasn't a Zack. You knew this wasn't a Zack Snyder movie, right?
I hated it. I couldn't finish it.
But
I couldn't finish it.
But in real time, you know that oh yeah, this is not Zack Snyder's vision, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
which is why I think
5 minutes in.
I think so. I give Justice League a 2 out of 10. And I give Zack Snyder's Justice League
3.8?
3.2.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's still really bad, but
yeah,
it gets 0.8 for being a thoroughly sought after vision, uncompromised by a studio head. And some of the stuff does kind of make better sense in context with whatever this was going to be, because the Justice League cut is just a fucking train wreck from start to finish.
You really didn't finish it?
I couldn't. I don't know how anybody went to see that movie. I know when I saw the trailer that movie was going to fucking suck. And then when I finally watched it and gave it a go, I was like, I fucking hate Ezra Miller. Cyborg got fucking shafted. I knew he did. This should have been a Cyborg movie. You should have just made a Cyborg movie first. Jason Momoa is a nothing burger, nothing to write home about by any means. He's kind of okay. He's inoffensive at most. Gal Gadot can't act, and the shift in fucking Bruce Wayne, the tonal dissonance from fucking Batman v Superman.
Oh god, yeah, that was so intense.
That
really hits you in the face when you watch it the first time. Where it's like, this is so
I just can't comprehend
Batman at all.
I can't comprehend who thought this was a good idea.
Yeah, the Justice League, that's what I'm saying. You could tell in real time, this is 100% not.
Now, in context, in the Snyder cut, it feels less jarring, I guess, but it's still kind of dog shit.
In which one?
The Snyder cut.
Oh, and that isn't even like and that even confirmed. Like I think the theatrical cut of the Snyder of Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, even if we got that and like he
like
didn't
the two-parter that he wanted?
hadn't left. Yeah, and they do the two-parter. I think even that version of it would have been
a disaster.
Shit. Yes.
It was a disaster.
Because even this movie is it's better, but it's not past 5. Okay, it's not on the good side.
No,
it's on the bad side.
It's still a really bad movie.
It's on the dark side.
It's a really bad movie.
Yes, cuz still Ezra Miller is still in there. Like Cyborg's whole like fucking dreamscape, explanation of his powers,
his software updates
inside the matrix of his mind, like oh my god, like could you imagine going to seeing that in theaters? Like hopefully, like maybe in the edit it would have been better, but I still don't think it would have been like Man of Steel at best,
Which is all you could really hope for from Zack Snyder now.
Yeah, and man, John Campea, he fucking loves Man of Steel. He just
I like it.
Loves
I don't
it.
love it.
I think it's like for me, it's like a 5.125.
I think it's like a 6 for me. Not that much. It's all right.
A 6?
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh,
it's not great.
Yeah,
it's not even really that good.
Man, is it?
It's a.
What are the other the Aquaman, Wonder Woman?
That's a 5.
Is
That's
Man
a 4.
of Steel like your favorite DC EU movie?
Yeah,
like the 2 Suicide Squads.
Yeah, it is. They're about the same.
Harley Quinn movie. Like the whole thing has been a disaster. The whole thing has been an absolute disaster.
So
James Gunn, maybe it was a pandemic, but the James Gunn Suicide Squad did not. I don't think it made that much money.
I remember liking it, thinking it was okay.
And does he have the?
They're making the same mistake.
Does he have the mindset to know that all right, every movie's got to have kind of its own flavor, but kind of be in the same. It's still got to be dinner,
and
but
not
it's
dessert.
But there's some ingredients you can swap out, but we've still got to make the same. That's that. I feel like that's too specific of an analogy, but there's got to be a little bit of a something that allows the universes to cross over in a believable way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there has to be something of a something there.
It's got to have a little level of genericism.
There's got to be a little thread. Yes.
It's got to have a little bit of a...
To make successful blockbuster movies, you have to have a little bit of a committee. Now, I think you can still give a director or maybe even a screenwriter more voice, as a producer, be a mediator between a writer,
the creative and corporate side,
a writer director, and kind of your writer's room. You know what I mean? And kind of give the director more weight, towards whatever the more streamlined, version of the movie would be. You know what I mean?
Who do you view as the most creative? The director or the writer?
The most creative?
Yeah, just the most creative.
Oh, I think it's equal. It's in different ways. Mm-hmm. So the director's obviously it's more visual, and then for the screenwriter it's more conceptual. So it's real. Both are really hard.
Or both are equally important.
And then plus just the craft of filmmaking. A director has to also just happen to be talented at that, or have people around him that are really good at the things that he's not very creative at. You know what I mean? Like lighting. Maybe you just have fucking that guy that always Chris Nolan's cinematographer,
Wally Pfister.
Yeah, Wally Pfister, or the new guy that he works with, or the Coen brothers cinematographer, and they just are really fucking good at like lighting and staging and shit, and like, and y'all work really well together and come up with, you know what I mean, and your story, like, and then maybe that even like maybe the good cinematographer, like they're like they can't do their, like they don't do their best work like in every genre, you know what I mean. And so maybe your vision like happens to line up with their style, you know, creatively, and like, you know, y'all happen to get the best out of each other. But and then a screenwriting is like a total different, like you're like in another like conceptual universe where like all this shit is just floating in the air.
What about the writer director?
Like I think maybe a screenwriter is more creative in the sense that like a script could be fucking anything, but like the movie is like constrained by the craft, you know. So it's like the limitation kind of limits your the domain of your imagination, you know.
I think I feel like now you can make a movie about almost anything.
Well, I mean, there is like less limitation in live action than more than ever now. Yeah,
I mean,
but you sort of, but that's been true for like pretty much a decade now. So you have to, maybe the screenwriter now, you have to come up with the creative use of it, like even like visual effects. Like now, like you have to be like really creative, because the audience knows that anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have we seen a city destroyed? From post-apocalyptic movies, superhero movies, you know, disaster movies. And so, yeah, now it is about, like, okay, now, how exactly is the city being destroyed? You know what I mean? It's like blockbuster filmmaking is then a whole nother universe too, where it's like, all right, you have to be creative, but in a domain of this, in this bounded area of like, this has to be like accessible to a wide audience.
Word of the day, boys. In this context is the word of the day.
Yes, I honestly think like you could be like if being a good screenwriter might mean that like you're really good at writing like blockbuster movies, you know what I mean? And then being an indie movie director, like maybe that doesn't mean that you even want to make like a $200 million movie, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're a little indie director, and like, you know, the biggest budget, like the biggest story that you want to tell is like, you know, $20 million or $40 million movie.
Could you see yourself making a superhero movie for $45 million?
Yeah, like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that would go pretty far actually. But yeah, I have had some ideas in the past for like kind of like sci-fi, like a sci-fi movie that would be like an original blockbuster. Like it would be like maybe $150 million movie where like, I don't know, like some sort of movie where like some sort of novel technology is created, and everybody, all these different groups are trying to get it, you know, and it's kind of like it's like a Jason Bourne, but like more superhero.
I want to do like a Blade Runner type movie.
Dystopian future, megastructure.
Yeah.
Dread is like the B movie version of Blade Runner, right?
Yeah.
It's like
RoboCop.
It's it's the RoboCop universe. Almost.
Which are equally as badass.
Which are both like parodies of like law enforcement in a way.
Yeah. Well, so apparently here's like this big little meme I've been hearing about the 80s being like the ultimate turn of the police state, of the American police state. And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, is that true? I'm looking just like at the media people were consuming. There was like a few cop shows out at the time. You know, going from like Leave It to Beaver to like a cop show. It's kind of a big shift in like the media that people are consuming.
In the 70s?
Yeah, 70s, turning 80s.
Yeah.
And, but then you start getting like the books like people sort of showing like a outright disdain for like the police state, you know, Dredd being one of them, kind of,
right.
RoboCop being kind of one of them.
Is it almost like a Hatsfield McCoy situation?
I don't know. What is that? What does that mean?
It's like two families. One person did something to somebody like 100 years ago. They all forgot why, but they still hate each other.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Like nobody actually knows what started it, or something. But it's like the Hatsfields and the McCoys.
Right. But like
where like there's like a cultural identity marker to being in opposition to the other group.
Well, no, like even extended like outside of like the U.S. It's like, oh, what about our role in police? You know, kind of like the militarization of the police. You know, like the aftermath, like the drug wars and stuff. And then, you know, then our place as the police on the world stage. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sort of getting into sort of that empirical
as like a symbol of your. Oh, you're talking about soldiers,
right? Mm-hmm. You know, sort of like the rise in awareness of like the death of the American dream. It's like, okay, what are we doing now after Vietnam, after the Korea War? It's like we fought the big war. You know, why are we still doing this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What was I trying to fucking get at, man? Why was I talking about the police state again?
The rise of the police and media, 70s
in the 80s.
to 80s cop shows were starting to get more popular from the 70s to the 80s.
But where were you?
Oh, and being in opposition to the police.
Wait, like but what? Fuck! It was a movie you were talking about. You were talking about a movie. What were you?
Oh well, you said you wanted to make a Blade Runner. In the future,
right?
But would you want to do it serious like Blade Runner, or somewhere in between like Blade Runner and Dredd?
I would want to do like a blend of outrageous scenarios, but with maybe like a deeper philosophical messaging.
Is that Cowboy Bebop?
Sort of.
Right?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of futuristic sci-fi, but it's a sad boy main character.
I think Spike Spiegel's the ultimate good boy. He's not super sad boy.
Oh yeah,
he gets sad.
Yeah,
but
I guess there's a lot of memes about him and that chick.
No, the sad boys, dude. The sad boys place.
I guess
the sad boys will they appropriate all these cool, awesome, masculine characters and archetypes.
But he is pretty jolly most of the time, right? He's like a happy warrior.
Yeah, he's like the total drunken fool warrior type. You know, he's always having a good time, just trying to eat food and get bounties. And
is he like a righteous character? Like, does he like if he sees injustice, is he like, hey, that's fucked up?
Sorta. He's so like the vehicle for all the episodes is them trying to get a bounty, right, for money because they're kind of poor, and they always portray Spike Spiegel as being like I'm kind of in it for myself. I just need the bounty, and.
Oh, okay. So he is kind of like a
Han Solo,
Yeah.
But you know, like if he sees like a hungry kid on the street, he'll give him food or the last money he has to his name.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So he's like reluctantly benevolent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has
a few rough edges.
Yeah, he's got some edges, but ultimately he is kind of a good person to some degree. He is kind of a hero.
Deep down, he's not going to fuck you over, right?
No, totally not. You know, he even gives some of the people he has bounties on like a second chance. Like, dude, run away, like get out of here.
Oh, okay. That is pretty generous. That's pretty
you know
generous.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he could make like
he's giving up money.
He can give he's giving up like $1 billion double dollars, their universal currency.
Yeah.
No, that's Trigun. But you know what I'm talking about. Credits.
Yeah. Oh, but the movie that I was talking about.
Mm.
Okay, like, dude, honestly, like Inception tonally.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
Like dreamlike.
Where it's like, no. But like, you know how like in the first half, there's kind of like this heist, like like we're going like from from Europe to the Middle East, and like we're assembling the team, and there's like this kind of weird technology, there's kind of amorphous technology that well, not the technology part, but you know, there is a sci-fi element to it. Mm-hmm. Because this technology doesn't exist in the real world, right? Mm-hmm. But it's subtle, and it's not like we're not like way outside the real world here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But the technology itself is kind of sort of magical. Yes.
So near future, in the near future, you know, where the world mostly looks the same, but there's more electric cars on the road and there's charging stations. You know,
right?
It's a little futuristic,
right?
But for the most part, you know, so there's nothing like too crazy, right? Maybe some drones, okay. But in this world, there's clones, or anti-gravity boots, or some kind of a suit that lets you phase through walls. Or are you feeling me? Are you seeing the angle here?
I see what you're talking about, but it's just like you're doing the Zack Snyder thing, when it's like all these cool things, but like, but what capacity are these things taking place in?
Right. Okay, so okay. So, what did it? So, a rogue scientist.
Okay.
Backyard experiments. Accidentally stumbles upon crazy technology. Somehow it gets out, and various groups are after him. Maybe in the first half, it's like, oh, I don't even know who's who, and like, there's one guy pretends to be a cop, but he's actually not, and this, you know, and then somebody else is after the cop, and then, you know, various factions, and then, you know, eventually that gets sorted out by some character, you know, but then, you know, by the end they have to use this thing that somehow gives you some sort of superpower, basically, against the people that are after them. You know? Okay, are you feeling me? There's an evil Jeff Bezos is also after the technology because it lets you teleport. Wants to teleport packages. It's going to eliminate. FedEx will be out of business. The USPS will be out of business if I get these teleportation pads.
I was on board until you started saying evil Jeff Bezos.
Okay, or an Elon Musk.
That makes more sense.
He wants to.
What is the technology?
That's what I'm trying to pin down.
Okay, see, I think it's really. I think the entire story is like
pretty solid.
No, hinges on that. Hinges on what the technology is.
But are you getting like the?
I'm getting the vibe. I'm getting the vibe
of the tech that I'm talking about. Like,
right.
Where
right.
It's a definitive buff on just being a guy with a gun, or just a guy with a physical melee weapon or anything like that. This is like way above that. But it has to be like an interesting. It can't be a glove that lets you punch harder. Okay, it can't be a serum. I even thought about something even like less superpowery, like clones, and then it is basically just a totally grounded action movie, but they're after this thing that lets you resurrect people after they die. It's a death cure, or it's like a cloning technology, and you can grow a full body.
What if it was like a genetic bioweapon that can like target a race of or people. I could target like
genetic targeting.
Yeah.
Yes, where you just have to get near them, and it'll infect everybody, but only the target will come down with it. That's basically like an assassination tool, like the perfect assassination tool.
You think so?
Well, no, because you still have to get a sample of their DNA somehow.
COVID.
But that killed a bunch of people, so
no, like
it wasn't genetically targeted.
No, but everybody who got vaccinated or got tested, rather.
Oh, they have a sample of our DNA. I don't know if they keep them. Maybe some.
I'm just saying, like that would be the perfect front.
Maybe there is some. Yeah. I don't know. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. It could even be something like that, where it is basically just it turns into an action movie, like just a full blown action movie, like a good old fashioned, basically Jason Bourne or some shit. But you still got to incorporate like the tech in there somehow.
I think too philosophically with like, I don't think I could ever make a blockbuster because I would want to, if I had like millions of dollars, I would want to make the most. I would want to make like a movie that, man, I would try to do like a fucking Tenet level movie, but makes sense.
Okay, so you would lean more towards like not a superpower.
Fuck no, I don't think I'd ever do a superpower.
Like just a straight. Because see, this is like this is like in a zone in between, where like the first half, like it's not,
Yeah.
And maybe like only one group of the bad guys, have some version of the technology, but they want yours because it's like perfected.
I want to do like an anime level movie.
You barely see it. But you just said live action. You just said grounded.
No, like animated movie, like some sort of like I want to get like the biblically accurate
you don't
angel
think any
memes.
Of those scripts could be in live action?
I wouldn't want to.
Those anime ideas, like in live action, but like with the crazy characters. But CG.
Anime isn't. I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I mean, it is possible because, like, yeah, like I think a lot of stories that are in anime wouldn't work live action.
I don't think so. I think a lot of them don't even work in like hour and a half story contexts.
In movie form?
Well, Studio Ghibli can't prove that wrong, but
yeah, exactly. I saw Demon Slayer was pretty good. I had a good time. I saw that in theaters. Yeah.
Snicker. PS4 bundle. Metal Gear Solid.
In English, no subtitles.
Really?
Yeah.
In English?
Yeah.
I think Japanese dub.
I just like
that's better.
I just just pretend like it's an American movie. Like I just want to pretend like this was made for me. It's just like watch it like that.
Hey, you know what? Parasite was pretty good.
Yeah, Parasite was good.
I actually really like that movie.
Yeah, I watch foreign movies with subtitles too. But like if I can, hell yeah, no subtitles in English. Let's fucking go.
Would you watch Parasite in dubbed? I think it loses.
Oh no, in live action, it's probably better. Not. But
I think the performances are just better.
If it was dubbed, you know what? If that was an option, I definitely would try it out. See how good the dub is.
Would you watch RRR dubbed?
Definitely.
Would you work with the the triple R guy? He's like, I want to be in your movie, Josiah. I want to be the first Indian American superhero.
I think it's two. It might be two guys. I don't know.
His dad was his.
Or like, yeah, his dad is involved or something. It's like his producer, maybe or something.
Maybe
I can't remember, but there's like something like that.
Yeah.
But he's like a famous director.
What if he came? What if he went to you? He's like, look, I want to make a post-American superhero movie that has philosophical messaging, but you have to play it like an Indian movie Bollywood movie. You have to make it. You have to fuck over the cultural zeitgeist. You have to make them think they're being woke, but then you fuck them over and make it an movie. We'd be like, dude, that's a tall order, or like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Dude, I don't know, like doing the opposite, like flipping it on its head or whatever. Like, so many things have been done.
Not substance wise, but like in terms of like, it still even kind of plays out that way. It's hard. It's like a really thin line. It's like the camp thing.
Speak on that.
I'm trying to. Every time I try to, you interrupt me.
Repeat what you said.
Oh, or you could subvert people's expectations, but still kind of have that visual and even structural integrity.
Oh, okay. I'm 100% on board with that.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I agree with you.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a very fine line because to some degree,
Deadpool is like trying to go for that.
On surface only. Only.
In a very kind
in
of
a
basic
very
way.
very basic bitch way, in a very superficial way. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I hate when people say like, "Oh, breaking the fourth wall is like a total postmodern art." It's like,
yes, technically it is, but it's like, all right.
At some point, it becomes so cliche and modern that it begins to not even be relevant.
I don't know if it's cliche. I don't know how many. Like,
it happens more often.
It's novel for a superhero movie, I guess, as like the superhero genre has like become synonymous with blockbuster at this point.
Yeah, because they are basically the only ones.
And so, like, the fact that like you're getting that in a superhero movie is like a shift, is like a sign that like that angle of it is like being like mainstreamed.
You know how I would do it
in a bigger way?
I would if I ever made like a Superman movie, I would try to market it heavily as like a return to form. Like when we were a country sort of deal. Like really super heroic and sunshine everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I would just make that the movie. Never mind. I would just play it straight.
That's what I'm saying. It's like what is the opposite? And it's like, there's like so many.
Maybe I make him a little anti-establishment.
Like Hancock. That might be the best postmodern superhero movie, and it's not that good. Maybe Invincible, dude. That was awesome. That's kind of a post superhero movie, right?
I think Watchmen's pretty fucking good.
Oh, Watchmen. Yeah.
I think Watchmen is incredibly good.
The movie is pretty good. Yeah.
I'm tired of pretending that it's not even borderline genius, but I don't know if that's more Alan Moore than it is.
Are you 9+ on that?
Yeah, 9 solid.
9 solid? Oh, okay.
Aesthetically beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Great acting.
Mm-hmm.
Some pretty memorable lines. Some good action set pieces. A thought-provoking story. And, as thought-provoking as you can get. But, actually, I think there's even stuff I don't understand. But that's more of, like, the Alan Moore side, where it's, like, the Mariner and shit. The B-plot. But I think, like, the Watchmen movie is kind of like a marriage between Zack Snyder and Alan Moore storytelling. But I think I appreciate that more than I do the actual source material. So I guess the criticism of, like, if you like the movie, you don't understand Watchmen. I guess I don't.
Oh no, I think he.
Like, if he did make changes, I don't think he changed the DNA of what the story he was trying to tell. I don't think he did, because I do have Watchmen. I have read the book.
Yeah,
and
I think he does change, like, the end where it's like it's ends on a good note, not a bad one, not a pessimistic one.
It is still pretty pessimistic in the Zack Snyder movie.
I can't. I feel like there's a scene of, like, Owlman and Silk Spectre talking to each other in their room. Mm-hmm. Or, like, in like walking into their house, and, like, things are cool, and, like, there's something on the news that says that, like, oh yeah, like, everyone's, like, doing peace talks and everyone's gonna hold hands and shit.
Yeah, the nuclear armaments have been put down.
Yeah, something like that. And then I think in the novel, I think at the news is ominous, and like.
Well, I think at the end, you see Rorschach's journal being delivered to a news outlet, to the press.
Oh, right.
So all of that is going to be unraveled by the truth.
Oh, that's so odd. Yeah, the novel, that is such a better ending.
That's in the movie too.
Oh, he gets the thing?
At the end, it's like you see like the guy picking up Rorschach's journal, and you hear his line again, Rorschach's journal, like from the beginning.
Oh, okay. So
it's implied that because he writes everything. Like he's like, people need to know what happened here tonight. Mm-hmm. I think his final journal entry.
Yeah, so it's kind of how you like it says something more about you, whether you see that as a positive ending, a positive thing, or a negative thing that the journal gets delivered.
What do you think?
No, I think it's good.
You see, so I think that's actually kind of smart because it's like it kind of calls on you to answer whether or not how much do you value truth. You know what I mean? So that's why I think
do you value truth over
peace.
Yeah. And I don't, because I don't actually think you can have one without the other.
Peace predicated on a lie is not peace.
No, I don't.
Because I think there is some truth to that.
No. I don't think you can. Like, maybe you can negotiate peace based on lies, but obviously it won't last.
Mm-hmm. So the truth is better ultimately for long term?
Yeah.
You utilitarian son of a bitch.
I'm not. The utilitarian would be
like, okay, we'll suffer now, but for the next 100 years we'll be fine.
Huh?
Well, it's like we'll trade off telling the truth. No, we'll tell the truth. Even in the we might get destroyed in the short term, but in the long run, we'll be more prosperous because of it. If you value the truth that much, you would. I would hope for that. If I was like the truth utilitarian guy, I was really just joking.
It's not, but no, the utilitarian would kill Rorschach, and then if he found out that it was about the journal, he would go and kill that journalist too.
No, yeah, it was Adrian. It was Adrian Veidt. He was a total utilitarian.
He was like, yeah,
I'll kill millions to save the world.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I
got it twisted. My bad.
There's something there. There's like deontological ethics or whatever where the principles supersede the consequences.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You're
which
like
is sort of like a Marvel.
The Captain America type of deal.
The Marvel morality.
Or what Captain America thinks he is.
We don't trade lives, yeah. There's no one life to save millions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't kill one. Yeah, you don't do it.
Because it's bad.
So I basically have yeah. God damn. Am I a corporate shill? Am I a corporate drone?
I don't know. Are you?
Well, I have like Hollywood ethics, like Hollywood screenwriter morality here.
I think it depends on what it's what. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Well, do you agree with that? That like, oh yeah, even if like there was a. I'm trying to think of an example, but like maybe okay, you're on a ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has a crew of 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and one of you gets really sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then others of you start getting sick, and then you find out that it's this. You send a carrier pigeon to a scientist, to the CDC,
mm-hmm.
and they say, this is the most infectious virus we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Y'all are all going to be dead in a few months. Or, shit, okay, maybe in about 2 months. But you're going to be at shore in a few days. You're going to be back at shore in a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should you kill... Now, this is a bad example.
I would kill myself.
Okay, fine. It's just a trolley problem.
I know what you mean. But would I kill the people there too?
So you... Wait, no, it's not the trolley problem. Well, yeah, kind of... Yeah, well, yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Well, okay, so would I kill the passengers too? The other 10 people? Is that a better equivalency? Asking if I'd kill them too?
I'm trying to say, like, yeah, like...
To save everybody else? I mean, that basically would be it.
Yeah.
I would. I'm demonic, dude. I'm not a good person. I totally would. I would totally kill them.
So you'd save people... But, yeah, it's kind of about contextually dependent, right?
I think so. I think anybody who says they can answer that question, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of a real-life example. Damn it.
Well, what if...
where, like... You could save people by killing here's one person.
Here's a better example. Would you kill your brother if it meant you would save 10 people around the world? No, right?
Right.
But you would be you'd be indirectly responsible maybe for those other 10 people dying because you could have theoretically saved them
somehow, in some way.
Yeah,
right?
Somehow in this stupid fucking hypothetical.
Okay, yes, okay. Let's get crazy.
I mean, no, but I mean that's the only way it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Would you strangle
an infant?
Yeah, baby Hitler.
Mm-mm.
In order to stop the Holocaust.
No. Because I don't believe time works that way anyway.
Okay, would you... Well, you already said that you would do it. So I don't have to come up with any kind of special situation.
I wouldn't strangle a baby. What the hell? I would never do it.
To save 1 million people? 1 million people.
Look, man, I believe in fucking...
on the line.
Look, bro, I believe in destiny, bro. If they were going to die, they were going to die anyway, man. No matter what. Even if Hitler died, someone else would... The 6 million Jews would have been dead. I believe in entropy, my brother. Things that have happened or will happen no matter what. There is no change in anything. We're all in just one continuous line of consciousness, my brother.
Who's this?
Oh, this is just me. I'm just saying it at a stupid accent.
Oh, because I'm on board. Mike Tyson is on that shit. Or no. Wait. Who's a boxer that we were watching?
It might have been Mike Tyson.
Maybe so.
It was.
But I'm on that wavelength.
Yeah, where it sounds stupid, but it's like he's really correct.
Oh, when we were talking about like the meme sphere, and you were saying like, oh, ideas have you. Yeah, that's called determinism.
Is it?
Yeah. Like you can't decide what ideas you're interested in or are going to interest you or for how long.
Yeah, I think I agree, but I ultimately think it doesn't really matter.
But but the meme the meme sphere is the mechanism of the psychological kind of space.
So, you know when people talk about having the word of God flow through them, I kind of have the same mentality where I just let the ideas just kind of flow. You know, I was gonna say them anyway, so you know what I mean.
What ideas?
Whatever bullshit I say.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, basically. On everything.
We were talking about the memes, like the ocean, the island, like the island of consciousness, right?
Right.
And you're throwing ideas out into the ocean, and you don't know who's going to hear them, and then you don't know what that person's going to do with them, with that info, on their island, you know?
Yeah.
And like how it's going to affect them, and the ecosystem there. So yeah, in a sense, even on the information level, like you can't control what information you come across, right? In some sense, because there's so much information out there that you don't know, and so it's being filtered to you in various ways, including by yourself. You know what I mean? And that is shaping your reality in a that is how your reality gets shaped. Like what you think is going on out there in the world, like whatever you think is happening right now, or like what the state of the country is, or what the state of the world is, or what's happening out there, all of that is determined by like the media that you come across and the various ways that happens. You know what I mean? Like there's a million different like the social media apps, how they work. You know, that's kind of a filter.
I think it's even simpler than that. It's like even like the movies you ingest, the shows you've watched, the cartoons you've seen. Like that's going to heavily inform like your sort of mythos of the world to some degree.
All the memes that you come across.
Yeah.
All of that gets becomes they're bricks.
A layer of cringe on you.
They're bricks in a palace. Yeah. And it's like they create the psychic world that you live in. The psychic castle.
How do we decalcify our pineal gland? How do we decalcify it?
I don't think you can live in that state.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I don't think you can like be like fully in the center and like. But dude, people say when they meet the Dalai Lama, like there is something about him, like his aura or whatever. So like I think you can live in really close to it.
Proximity?
Yeah.
What if one day like your fucking third eye just opened and you were just like the ultimate human being?
That'd be awesome.
Would you even be a human being anymore?
Perhaps not. But I did have a script idea about that.
Limitless?
Called Holy Man. No. He doesn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
His third eye opens, he knows all, and he just wanders around.
The wanderer.
Yeah.
The nomad.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool title for a movie. Nomad.
Yes, if you can imagine...
The wanderer.
If you can imagine a Joker character.
The traveler.
Like, okay, Joker in real life is like a homeless guy that is also a serial killer, right? Mm-hmm. Like sleeping in garbage cans, like totally crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, if you can imagine that, but hell bent on chaos or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe killing as many people as possible. Okay, that would be like a real life Joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even like at times can really focus and plan properly. You know what I mean? And really think about like killing as many people as possible and getting away with it. You know what I mean?
The Antichrist.
And doesn't care about anything else. You know, it's like a homeless guy. If you can imagine that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You then the opposite must exist.
Yeah. The ultimate good guy.
Yeah. The reverse Joker.
The Godhead.
Yeah.
The
someone like what would that look like, Vince?
You want the answer for real?
Yeah. In like realistically.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh man.
They have a Keanu Reeves. Yeah, we need Keanu Reeves on The Holy Man.
He's just wandering around Hollywood.
I'm the Godhead. Look, I see the divinity within you and all of us. We are all his children.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Somebody like with their third eye opened would be able to like read people really good. You know what I mean? And like emotional, like you'd have like I think you'd have like a super
autism,
like a super
Anti-autism.
social ability. Yeah, where like you're like can read people's emotional states really good, and like maybe like some like somehow you know exactly how to like turn them around into like feeling good or something, or like maybe just give them the right amount of tilt that they need on their perspective, that just the tiniest crack, and how to tap that shell gently to get the tiniest crack that'll eventually, crack the shell.
Damn.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of third eye opening where like
it's like indirect mind control.
Yeah.
Almost. But man, dude, it's fucking getting late. What time is it? It's almost 6 o'clock. How long have we been on this bitch?
Oh, only an hour 25.
Only an hour 25?
Yeah.
Right.
We go for 2 hours easily. What else were we going to talk about?
Matt Damon.
The cryptosphere imploding. Okay, do you know about Sam Bankman-Fried? Fried.
So tell me if this is right. So FTX is a crypto exchange, crypto wallet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy different coins and sell.
All right, it's like a coin exchange app.
Mm-hmm.
And so, from my understanding, from my gatherings, from my understanding, he took customer investments basically, and funneled it into a
not investments, but yes.
Okay, into a.
That's an important part of why what he did was a crime.
Okay, and. Okay, I'm not going to say laundered, but he did funnel money into a third hedge fund, right? A third-party hedge fund, a different hedge fund.
Mm-hmm.
That he was, the woman...
Some kind of investment firm or something?
Yeah, he was fucking
Alameda
the bitch.
Research. Yes. And he was dating the CEO of that. They were basically
and
the same company.
he was asked, why, it says like here in these documents that your rules indicate that you're not allowed to do this, and it's pretty evident that you did. He's like, actually, we can do it in certain instances and this and that. And he's like, oh, but it says here this is basically how it happened, and it says pretty clear that you're not allowed to do this. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, it's unfortunate what happened, but. Like I said, in these instances, like, kind of parading around like not directly admitting it, but admitting it, that is what happened. So
yes, some streamer got him to, or some YouTuber, like hopped onto like some like Q&A that he was having. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Why does this guy keep doing interviews?
He's gonna get. It's almost like
he must be some kind of. I think he's sort of like a more autistic. Remember the insolent Martin Shkreli?
Mm-hmm. A scumbag.
Yes, but just kind of more socially awkward.
So look, this is the ultimate deterrent for people not raising bullies. This is what happens. They lash out at society and fuck over everybody, and they can do it at a bigger scale. Politicians are evident.
Should they have been aborted?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
But think of all the money that we would have saved.
Well, ultimately, only mostly rich people got fucked over.
Was it really?
Well, I mean, there was thousands of people with like millions of bucks invested. So,
okay, that's the thing.
And also, stupid people got fucked over because people who are like in their 50s who have no idea what the fuck a crypto is. I don't. They certainly don't. Many stories I've read of people who dipped their entire life savings into this exchange and lost it all. But first off, from my understanding, in your later years, you're not really supposed to be betting it all into one basket. You make a little lower risk, but kind of.
Oh yeah, like the older you get, like the lower risk you're supposed to do.
Right. So I think it's kind of their own fault. But, there's lots of people who lost maybe like a couple $1,000. You're like, hey, you know what? I was just starting to get into this. I started, save up a little bit of money, and now I'm fucked over.
This is just going to hurt the crypto brand so much.
It's all on purpose.
You think so?
He didn't do it on accident.
Oh, I mean, like to tank crypto or something.
He didn't do. That's the result. Whether or not that was the intention is up in the air.
Dude,
but
so have you heard the theory that because people now that
is a false flag?
People have digging up
a digital false flag.
There's a video of this guy playing League of Legends while he's talking to like these big money investors and like pitching them on the company, and like they're asking him questions and he keeps looking over, and then somebody finds him streaming, playing League or some shit.
That's weird.
Yes.
What do you think is going on with that?
Oh, and then there was like there may have been some like...
Is he a part of the Jewish cabal?
So he had like, dude, so this guy had like $10 billion at one point that he was trading with, like basically just like making bets on the market like everybody. And I think he just got too big a head. Oh, and also, it wasn't people's investments. It was just like it was an online store for crypto. Just think of it like Amazon, and people had like preloaded money into the app, to spend money in the app on crypto.
It was money that wasn't rightfully theirs.
It was money that's supposed to just sit there. No one's supposed to do anything with it. Mm-hmm. Okay, except for you. But he had basically
into it.
He was putting. Well, yeah, there was another type of account that you could have, a margin account, which is like where you can invest by borrowing money, but it was in the terms of service for that, they can invest those funds
because it's their cash, basically.
No. It's like a bank.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like they're telling you, like, yeah, we will dip into this and, trade with it potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew, but he was dipping into just the regular, like, I bought 25 a gift card basically to your website,
and I didn't get my gift card.
Yes. And now you're saying I'm never going to that gift card's not there and it's never coming, which is what happened to a lot of people. But yeah, he basically had one account. Like the funds were never separated at all, which is already a violation of terms of service right there. But then yeah, I'm sure they're eventually going to prove that he was just funneling that money directly to the research thing. And so at the peak, it was like close to $10 billion, I think, or maybe over. I don't remember. And then at the like even after like it was getting exposed, he had a little under $1 million or under $1 billion, and he was still trying to like gamble his way back to the 10. Basically I don't know if it's like day trading or if he was trading on crypto or what, but yeah, it's basically like gambling on some kind of market.
Should he be in prison?
And he lost 90% of it, and then was still trying to get. So I think he was basically a gambling addict, because that has to be the biggest high in the world, right? To see like if for you to make like
couple hundred million,
in a day because you're trading with $10 billion, like that's got to be like
insane.
That's got to be an endorphin rush for sure.
Should be in prison? Should he?
Probably. I don't know if the technical financial crimes that he's going to got for are like prisonable offenses, or if you just get fined. I don't know. Like there's a lot of financial crimes that you don't get prison time for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but is it at the amount, or is it like how, like, is it like
if I stole $100, I'd be in prison. But if you gamble someone else's $10 billion, you just don't get prison. Make it make sense.
I know, but it's usually the crimes isn't about the amount. Usually, it's about like how bad it was, quote unquote. Like but I don't know how you would like put that into a law. Like if you really lie really hard, then you go to jail. But if you do like a lighter scam, like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like theft, or like I don't know what this would be considered.
Well, considering the state of
is it considered like straight up theft? Because then that is like, but is it like theft through the internet? So is it considered a scam because of that? You see what I'm saying?
It would
like
be.
An online
it wouldn't
scam?
even be theft. It would be. At worst, it would be like a in my imagination, like a trading violation, like a trade violation. You know what I mean?
We could look this up, huh?
Totally, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's funner to think about.
Yeah.
Like how should we gauge like financial crimes and their badness?
Well, because
like what should is it the amount of people?
You know what the bigger crime is? The fact that you can invest into stocks and you get taxed on it, but the government will take taxes, but they won't share in any of the risks that you have to take. They won't give you back your money if you lose it. Well, will they? Can you get a tax deduction for stock loss?
Maybe if it's like your profession.
I don't know.
Then it's like a write-off, or you can write it off. Oh, that'd be crazy. So they don't count that. They count, or maybe you could count it as a loss.
Maybe. What about? I mean,
I don't know.
Why can't you do that with your college debt, huh? We made an investment. I made an investment, didn't pay off. I'm gonna count it as a loss. My college tuition.
Yeah. Should we? Loan forgiveness?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I think maybe just like once in a million, like once in a blue moon, we just wipe everybody's debt out.
Yeah. Why not? Damn, that door just opened for no reason. That was scary. What if there's a ghost in here trying to fuck us?
Probably the air came on.
Oh. Anyway, dude, do you want? I kind of want to wrap it up and do some writing.
What were we talking about? Yeah,
the FTX, right. But
oh yeah. So how long should he go to prison for? 10 years?
Look, we have to do it by the books. Do whatever they can prove him on, whatever the statute is on how long you go to prison for that. We'll go from there. We need to have a semblance of something resembling.
Philosophically, is it worse the more people that he scammed?
Yeah, totally.
Or like, should that be like the how much time he gets, or should it be like how bad he lied, or I don't know.
Well, it's like the question,
or
like
how much money.
Who should go to prison longer? A guy who stole $100 from like an ATM, or like a guy who stole $1 million from like a store, or a guy who raped a woman? Which is worse?
The rapist.
Yeah, probably.
Well, because he wasn't willing to violate like a person, like their body,
right?
Which is like your most prized possession, your only true possession.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Your corporeal form.
Yeah. So I do think that's worse.
Yeah, me too.
Than stealing property.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it basically the same thing, though? They're both property that you own. It's like you're stealing, in some way, I'm having my property obfuscated from me without my permission. My body, my property.
You're having your what?
Property taken away from you.
Well, yeah. So you shouldn't.
No, I think I don't even know what point I'm trying to make. I'm not even trying to make a point. I just think.
What were we talking? The
rape or $1 million being stolen from a store.
Yeah. So you admit that it is worse, right?
Yeah, totally.
So he shouldn't go to jail as long as a rapist?
No. I think the rapist shouldn't even go to prison. I think he should be killed.
But doesn't like white collar jail for like a year sound like not enough?
What if he fucked over like 1,000 people and like they're all poor and homeless now?
I think at least 3 years, right? Too small or too much? I don't know what your face.
I think it's not enough.
Because honestly, I think
and then he comes back to $1 million.
I think rape might be like 10 years, 15 years.
That's
I don't know.
That's too long. I mean, that's too long. for a rapist.
Why?
A rapist should only have to suffer for 40 minutes in the wood chipper.
Okay, but seriously, I think that is like how long they are. It's not like it's not like 25 years or something.
If you could like 100% prove someone raped a child, what do you think what do you think the actual punishment should be? Without a shadow of a doubt, you know he did it. Do you think prison time or like being hung by their entrails in front of a crowd?
What about it?
What should be? Do you think? What do you think is better? 10 years in prison or just being publicly executed for a child rapist?
Well, yeah, 10 years in prison for sure.
Oh, you wouldn't kill him?
It doesn't actually do anything.
What if it like maybe disincentivized two people from like not wanting to rape people? Like, damn, I can get my fucking genitals torn off in front of everybody. I don't want to get caught doing that.
I don't think so. I mean, the death penalty doesn't like
curb violence. I guess
it doesn't curb violent crime like that.
It doesn't.
No, like the murder rates are
disproportionate to the
are all over the place. No matter what state, no matter what the laws are in that state, whether you have the death penalty or not.
All right, what if it happened to someone personal to you? Would you be willing to do such a thing?
In a certain, like, if they were like, if I thought they were gonna like get away with it or somehow some sort of legal bullshit or something.
Like, what's that movie with Gerard Butler?
And like the only way for them to properly, yeah, I might do something, but yeah, but I've thought about this before, and like I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't like walk up to them in public or anything. Like I'm not gonna ruin my life. I'm gonna take my time, my sweet ass time.
Oh, so you'd go law-abiding citizen route.
100%. Like they're never going to catch me. They're never going to find a hair follicle. They're never going to find a fingerprint. They're never going to find the body. There's no ties to me whatsoever. No possible. I'll have a perfect alibi. Like
it's going to go off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Damn, you'd have to. It'd have to.
Yeah, like if they got away, and then like I would need to tell them just to make sure they're not raping again. First of all.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
So yeah, but me going to jail is just another injustice. So like you should try and get away with it. You know, you see what I'm saying?
If you were a judge and a mom came to you, she murdered her daughter's killer, be like, you know what? The state's actually going to award you money. This guy would have been in prison for 10 years, so this is the amount of money we're giving you.
Oh. No.
Why not?
That's putting a bounty on pedophiles, and then that'll just like incentivize people
to kill pedophiles,
to kill pedophiles, to make up pedophile accusations.
That's true.
That's
true. You're right, man. But I'd be like,
you really don't want to incentivize that anyway.
What if I'm like, all right, we'll give you a couple of $1,000 for court fees.
I guess, but dude, like you're getting away with killing somebody. Like that's pretty hot shit. Because like it
is pretty hot shit.
Because like I wouldn't jail them, but I'm like, yeah, we got to have these laws on the books because like
can't just have people killing people.
We can't have just like people like trying to get their own retribution all the time and stuff, So we got to like haul you out here and like make you testify and shit and like state your case. Why shouldn't we put you in jail and shit? And like, all right, are you? And actually check, are they mentally stable and shit? Like, shit, you don't know. Maybe they were crazy before.
I don't know. But with that subject, I think we should
see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, but getting sleepy and I do want to write, dude. So I think it's time. Do you have anything you want to tell the people out in the world about the American meme?
It's a dream. It's a daydream. We're all daydreaming. At night is when you wake up. That's when you have access to your real thoughts. A different layer of your mind.
Your mind uninterrupted by your ego?
Potentially, yes. But it's also there for you to
No, I think it is. I think it is. Because if your conscious mind was a part of it,
because if your ego's not there, then what's observing it?
Itself.
Right. Memes.
Dreams. Creams.